All right, guys, welcome back to the Wakelet Boathouse. We have a great session here today as we speak to somebody from Canada about using Wakelet, and it is going to be awesome. With that, we also have the number one co-captain in the world, Brandi. Reams. Hi, Brandi.
Hi, everyone. All right, so we have another exciting Boathouse session today. We're here with Stuart Gray, and he is going to share his collection and tell us a little bit about the 5C, the fifth C, one of the 5Cs that he's chosen to share. Tell us how he uses it to enhance education. So Stuart, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll take a look at your collection.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for having me. So my name is Stuart Gray. I'm the Education Technology Consultant with the Western Quebec School Board in Gatineau, Quebec, Canada. And I've been a classroom teacher since 2009, and in my first year in this role as a technology consultant for our board. So we've got 30 schools across a large territory in Quebec, and we've got over 1,000 teachers and over 9,000 students across our board. And so I'm one of two technology consultants focused on education integration. And so we've got a lot of people we support, but it's been an amazing position. And I'm really, the education technology has been a passion of mine since I started as a teacher. And so this has been a great opportunity to share my knowledge and share this learning journey with teachers across our board.
Absolutely. So what are we going to look at today?
Yeah, so I'm going to say relatively new to Wakelet compared to a lot of the users I see in the community, and it's an amazing community since I've gotten involved with it, and I see the sharing that happens from fellow ambassadors, and so I would say though I'm relatively new, dipping my toes in the water compared to some, but I think I came across Wakelet in November of this year, November 2019. And by December, I was pretty much all into using this as a platform going forward. And the reason for that for me is that in this role, a big part of my role is curation, is the collection and sharing of resources. And that's something that everybody has a different way they go about doing that. In the past, I was using things like OneNote and using a OneNote web clipper and finding bookmarks, finding content, storing it in my OneNote and sharing it out that way. But it's something I explained in my ambassador application. It's just the ability to create engaging and interactive collections with Wakelet is the reason that I really dove into this. I don't think there's any other platform that really makes that process so smooth and seamless, and really, again, creates engaging content for the people you want to share it with. So that's the reason that I really started investing time with this. And my vision for my profile was to become kind of a hub for our board for education technology resources, something that I can easily direct teachers, administrators, students as well towards, to share content with them, and to act kind of like a landing page where they can spark ideas for classroom integration, to provide support for the tools that they're using. And that's the initial where we've started off. What I'd like to get towards doing as well is using it almost like a blog, where I'm going to have one of my collections that'll be kind of a prominent collection at the start is regular updates on the tools that we're using, the tools that I know our teachers are using, providing updates about feature releases and ideas that have come out in terms of classroom integrations. And then I'd also like to create a collection that's a collaborative one, shared with teachers across our board for sharing best practices. So that's the next step that I want to take with that is have a collection housed right there on the profile, right at the beginning, that is demonstrating best practices on these tools that our teachers are using. Because again, I've got my ideas of how things can be used and my suggestions, but we've got, as I said, 1,000 teachers, and they do some incredible things with these tools in the classroom every day.
All right, awesome. So you're talking about collaboration, and you have over 1,000 teachers using this. So how have you seen teachers working together through Wakelet or working together with their kids in the classroom around Wakelet and these various learning opportunities?
Yeah, so I would say that, it's become a point where when we are doing PD sessions and now virtual PD sessions, this is a great way that we can share resources to spark ideas in people's PLGs right now. That's been a big part of this, is that, we use this as a kind of a landing page that teachers can examine and analyze the content shared in there in their PLGs, start to discuss how they can use this to best support their students. And that's been a one big, first point of that. It's also, now I've already gotten a number of teachers across our board are starting to look at this now, taking what they've learned from me about Wakelet and seeing how we can, easily create these dynamic collections, and starting to do that for their classroom integrations. And so we, while we are on, this break from in-class learning, we have teachers, we have a lot of teachers have been working together just to, again, create social engagement. So they're doing challenges as a staff, and they're housing, their photos, their videos of their challenges and distributing through collaborative collections in Wakelet, which has been really neat to see. And we've got a lot of teachers already laying out plans for when things are back in session in the new year, looking at, again, using this to support their student learning, using this to, again, provide a simple way for students to show evidence of their learning. Also, I've had a number of teachers talk about using this as a portfolio for their students going forward. I think that's something where they saw a really, really big benefit, is, it's a great user-friendly, easy way that again, students can create portfolios of the work they've been doing, continually add to that, and have a really pretty amazing profile and collection of what the work they've been doing throughout their schooling.
That sounds familiar, Brandi.
It does.
Yeah.
So that.
So we're really thinking about this portfolio thing through Wakelet, and it being a hub for either a student portfolio or teacher portfolio. So how have you guys seen it being used as far as portfolio of student work or even teacher work has been instituted in your situation with PLGs? And I'm suspecting PLGs means professional learning groups, correct?
Yeah. Our professional learning groups or professional learning communities. Sometimes we use PLC as well. But well, I mean, again, as I said, we're still early days in terms of using it, and it's something that I've been trying to model, the potential of what you can do with Wakelet through our profile here. So this is this is our Wakelet profile that I've created for our board, and the idea with this is, again, starting off with some of the key content that we're using across our board. So talking about having collaboration from home resources, interactive tutorials in terms of the products that they're using right now. The digital action plan is a big project in the Quebec government over the next 4 years, related to investment in education technology in the province. And so along with that, that's been a place where I've been able to collect and share content about what are the goals and the visions for education technology in the province over the next 4 years. And at the root of that action plan is digital citizenship. And so again, this is a place where, it makes it so easy to collect and update content, because that's something, again, like everything in education technology, content changes really fast. And that's part of the reason why, I really like Wakelet as well, is because when something gets updated from 1 week to the next. So we just did was running a Microsoft Teams PD session this morning with about 40 teachers from one of our schools. And, features get rolled out from 1 week to another. And Wakelet makes it really easy for me to update those collections, add in new content, remove old stuff that's now outdated. So this has been an example of how I've used this really for curating those releases and distributing to prompt that collaboration then amongst the staff.
And I like the fact that you could, even like a digital action plan, which is typically 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
3 to 5 years is the sweet spot where you try to implement stuff, right? And so now you can use your Wakelet in process items that you captured kind of measure your progress as you're going through this. And then what you captured in year 1 and 2, by the time you get to year 4 and 5, it might look totally different because technology changes, practices change, people change. So now you'll have this, elongated look of your 5-year pathway that you've been on, and kind of gather up, did our digital action plan work? And when we revive it, what do we need to add and what do we need to keep as best practices? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be, a great platform for doing that because, as you said, it's principals are looking at what is their PD plan for next year related to this long-term goal, and it's going to be a place where, again, it makes it really easy to share the best practices, to share the experience that have come out of that year to year, and see how that grows over the length of the full plan.
Great place for teachers to work together on things. I mean, having that collaboration feature and letting teachers actually work together on one thing versus, I did this and I did this. It comes more together like we did this, and it shows a collective effort. So, I mean, I think you can't go wrong with this.
Yeah, it's that's my next step in terms of what I'd like to grow this to is building in that easily accessible collaboration piece in terms of opening this up now to our educators. And so we have a system in place where we have in our 30 schools, we have ICT lead teachers, we call them, that kind of represent the school in terms of their learning. They're often ones that are doing a lot of PD related to education technology and then bringing that back to their groups and distributing and sharing that with staff. And so that's initially, I think, how I envision is starting a collection with our ICT lead teachers to share what have their experiences been, what is the information coming out of their schools. And then beyond that, we have technology committees in each of our schools, made up of generally 5 to 10 educators in each group. And then really could open it up just to the entire board, have a collection that's accessible to our 1,000 teachers. That's again another great thing about Wakelet is the ease in sharing those collaboration links. It makes it so simple for people even who haven't really experienced the platform before. With the collaboration link provide them, you don't need to have any sort of prior experience with the tool. You can get into that link and very quickly you can see how you start adding your content, start adding, your ideas. And that's a big piece of why Wakelet appealed to me is the element of design. There's clearly a lot of thought into the heuristics and the design aesthetics of it. And I think that's so important with technology and making teachers feel comfortable with the content. When you get into, editing or creating your collection for the first time, I really think it's laid out in a way that you don't need to have any prior experience. You see that plus sign, you see your options of what content you can add. And again, it makes the process simple for you. That's rather than, pulling out a web link, typing up a description, adding a photo for each item that you're embedding. The fact that that's all done automatically and it's automated, that's I think the magic of it. It makes it so quick and easy to start to build these collections and to start collaborating on them. And it's, the nice thing I found too is in terms of sharing this with our educators is, I'm still working on best practices for my collections and organizing and making them make sense to the people reviewing them as well. That's the one, thing I think I constantly need to develop is I look at things in one way and I have my vision of course, this makes sense the way it's laid out. I understand what all this content is. And so that's what I'm really trying to work on is thinking about how you lay things out in a way that's going to make sense to a user who's never seen the page before. And so, as I said, a lot of it has been curation and sharing these resources for myself right now. But what I'm working to do is going through all my collections and looking at adding text descriptors for what these things are, breaking things up into sections of where to start. A big piece where I began was just simply trying to lay these pages out that sometimes have 50 plus items in a collection, but I try to lay them out in a way where it's day one at the top, beginners, novice users at the top, and then work your way down. So, if you want to come back to the page after a day of exploring something, you can start at the top and then work your way down, and it dives into more and more detailed content, I'd say, in terms of what you can do with the tool, what you can do with the platform. And so just in terms of this is an example of the collection I made for Wakelet itself. This has been something that, as my teachers start going through this and they see these examples of, okay, like, yeah, there's a lot of applications I can easily embed into my classroom. And there's a lot of value that could be brought from this with my students. It's a great example of how to display that in a single place. And again, rather than having people searching all over the web in different locations for things, the ability to do that and embed that content all in a single location makes it really useful. A useful place in terms of sharing knowledge and starting to collaborate on ideas.
That's awesome. Well, guys, you guys are hearing it here from one of the best in Canada. And that's saying an awful lot, because there's a lot of innovation happening in Canada, in the Quebec region. And we are just so excited to have Stuart here to kind of talk about that and share, because I had no clue that you guys were that deep into it. This is amazing.
I mean, it says a lot that you're one of 2 people providing resources for 9,000 students and 1,000 teachers. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, we're doing some great stuff in our board. There's really great support for the teachers, and our PD structure is I would say is awesome in terms of how well it's supported by administration in the schools, by our directors in our board as well. We've got a great model in place for providing professional development opportunities and for that ongoing learning and the follow-up in the classrooms.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate having you on, Stuart. And as always, Brandi, if there are any last words that you need to say as we head out on this journey.
I don't think there's anything left to say. Stuart did a great job covering everything, and I'm just blown away by how you use Wakelet to share your resources with everybody.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
It is absolutely amazing. Now, Stuart, if somebody needs to get in contact with you via social media, how would they do that?
Yeah, my Twitter handle is probably the best place to reach me at. So it's S_T_Gray, Gray.
All right. Excellent. At Twitter. All right. Well, thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this section of the Wakelet Boathouse, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.